Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. I'm Reverend Tim, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you this morning into this loving, caring community. Whoever you are, no matter where you are on your journey, you are welcome here. You are welcome no matter your age or gender. If you are part of the LGBTQ community or binary community, you are part of our community. You're welcome here with or without documentation, because what joins us together today is a simple word: love. As my father-in-law, the Reverend Herbert Vedder, used to say, it is good. It is good to be here. It is good to be here together. It is good to be here together today. And in that spirit, we'll begin our service as Chloe prepares to light the chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I invite us all to grow still, maybe let go of the keyboard for a moment, and let us begin our sacred time together.
As a child, the flame always scared me. Growing up, it's a symbol of safety. It's a symbol of warmth, of community, of unity, and of passion. And that's what I'm lighting this chalice for today.
And so as our chalice flame burns, reminding us of the warmth of love and community, we are going to begin with Spirit of Life, one of the most beloved Unitarian Universalist hymns. The lyrics should be posted in the chat box. If you know it, we invite you to join in singing, and if you don't know, feel free to join in as you become familiar with it. Spirit of Life.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Danny, and today I'd like to tell you a story that comes from the Jewish Kabbalah tradition, and it's their creation story. See, in the beginning, the Spirit of life took a deep, deep breath in. And when they did, they created inky, beautiful darkness that would hold the breath of the universe. And when they breathed out, loving, divine light was created. And the Spirit of life took this loving light and they placed it into 10 vessels. And the idea was to take these 10 vessels and send them down to the world, so that when the divine, loving light washed over the world would be made perfect. But the vessels were too fragile to hold this loving light in. And as the light hit the world, the vessels shattered. And the light descended down on the world, on the trees and the woods and the earth and the water and the clouds, scattering sparks of divinity and love everywhere. So the world wasn't perfect as it was intended. And so people were created. And people were created to go and search and find this loving light and bring it together. I think it's important to remember that we, each and every one of us, have the ability to go and find loving light. We each have that ability to find the divine spark. But that divine spark isn't enough on its own. All the pieces aren't enough on their own. It's when we come together that the sparks create the flame and the warmth that we need. In other words, we can't find greatness on our own. We have to come together, whether it's on an iPad, or it's on a computer screen, or a telephone, or it's in person. We have to bring our divine sparks together with one another in order to find greatness.
So as Danny reminded us, our breath is a way that we can connect to that loving light, that divine light, that energy within us. So I'm going to invite us all to take in a deep breath, just hold it for a moment, and then exhale. And again, another deep breath in, hold, and exhale. One more time together, a nice, deep, centering breath in, hold, and then let that breath out. What a week, my friends, what a week. As we continue breathing together, I invite us to let our hearts and our minds sort of breathe back into the week that has been the last 7 days of our living, a gift that was given to us. And as we breathe, I ask you to call to mind and heart, where did you see beauty in the world? Where did you see beauty in the world? And as we continue breathing together, joined together by our breathing, I ask you, where in the last 7 days did you see beauty in yourself? I know these last 7 days, many of us have been readjusting to what for now is the new normal, but we know that that's going to also be changing. This is a time of unknown and unknowing, but we are joined together by love, by breath, by our shared identity as Unitarian Universalists, members of this congregation, but also joined with congregations around this country and around the world. A lot of us have been asking, how do we move through these days? This week, a Unitarian Universalist minister by the name of Lynn Ungar sat down and asked herself that question and wrote a beautiful, beautiful poem that has gone viral all over the world. And I love it that a Unitarian Universalist poet and minister is ministering worldwide with these words that Lynn Ungar called pandemic. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling. Give up, just for now, on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down, and when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has become clear. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we all shall live. It's our tradition here at church that we acknowledge that we come into the sacred space with hearts that are full of joys, full of concerns, with gratitudes. Today, perhaps some real fears. I invite you in the chat box, as you feel comfortable, to share a personal joy, sorrow, or gratitude. Remember that we're live and the world can see what you type, so you want to be careful there. And we're going to ask no last names if you're writing about a certain person. But this is a time for us to be in community with each other, sharing what's so alive and important in our hearts and in our minds. I want to lift up some folks who are struggling with health issues today. We want to remember Sue and April, Karen, Bill, and Laura. We want to remember our most vulnerable, some who are in senior living centers, others who are just hunkering down at home. And so we lift up Nellie Ann and Robin and Glenda and Pat, and Betty and Bill. I also know that today is Bill M's 83rd birthday. So happy birthday, Bill M. I'm also remembering last Sunday. Our sanctuary was filled to capacity late in the afternoon because a really remarkable young high school senior, Patrick, died by suicide. And his friends from school and from scouting, they gathered here and shared stories about his far too short but loving, kind, impactful life. And so we remember his mom, Marty. We remember his father, Chris, and his brother, Timothy, older by just 1 year. We hold them in the embrace of our love. And so for all that we have shared, either on the screen or out loud, and for everything we're holding in the sacred silence of our own hearts, we light our candle of community. We light it too for all those who have no one to remember them this Sunday morning, all those who have no one to speak their name with gentleness and love. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. Our call to meditation is comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul, consuélame, 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 oh mi alma. And then it's speak to me, speak to me, speak to me, oh my soul, háblame, háblame. So let us join in our call to meditation.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Consuélame, 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 oh mi alma. Consuélame, 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 oh mi alma. Speak to me, speak to me. Speak to me, oh my soul. Speak to me, speak to me, speak to me, oh my soul. Háblame, 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 oh mi alma. Háblame, 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 oh mi alma. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
Imagine a moment, two hands that in Tibet in the 1600s crafted this meditation bowl. This bowl has been sounded through the centuries. It is sounded in times of famine, times of war, in times of pandemic, over and over, calling people into a shared sacred silence where they remember they're not alone and that they are held. We are held in a great love. And so this morning, we become part of that centuries-long lineage of love. O Spirit of life, Fuente de Amor, God of our own heart's understanding, name beyond all knowing and naming. Wow, what a week it has been. We give thanks. We give thanks for each and every breath that we've had this week. We give thanks for the gift of life, complicated as it sometimes can be. We give thanks that we're not alone, that we're together in community. We acknowledge that some of us are hurting, some more than others. We acknowledge that an uncertainty has touched so many of our lives, uncertainty in terms of finances and job security and health. Help us remember, Fuente de Amor, Spirit of life, that we are held, that we're not alone. Help us tap that courage within us, that resilience that we know is within every cell of our body. Help us be our best selves in the days and weeks to come. O Spirit of life, Fuente de Amor, be with us, be with us, be with us. I've been thinking a lot about my father this week. My dad was an industrial engineer, and he had this amazing ability to look at a complex and quickly changing situation and assess what he needed to do and how to adapt. He also had this uncanny knack of predicting what kind of flexibility would be called for tomorrow. You know, I think we all have someone from our past or our present who is a good example of who we'd like to have next to us when the world suddenly upends. Of all the things that my father left me when he died, my favorite is this flashlight. Now, it might seem kind of strange to prize this flashlight so much, but it reminds me of my dad's practicality. You never know when the electricity will go out, he used to say, so it's always good to have a really sturdy flashlight. This week kind of felt like the electricity was going out, metaphorically speaking. 9 years ago, I took Dad's flashlight to South Africa to volunteer with a team of scientists and wildlife preservationists who are working to save lions and elephants and rhinos at a large game reserve. While there, I did some amazing wilderness hikes and wilderness camping out in the bush. The hiking during the days was amazing. I would see everything from rhinos to elephants to lions and hyenas and so many giraffes, which is why today I'm wearing my colored giraffe socks. But camping at night, that was another story. There was a good part of it, and then there was a really terrifying part of it. The sky overhead at night out in the bush was amazing. The stars went on and on and on. There was such a sense of awe and wonder. If you are a theist, you would have said, this is the awesomeness of God. If you're a humanist, you would have said, this is the awesomeness of the universe. That dark night sky was truly humbling. The part I didn't like so much was my midnight walk from my tent to the latrine. About 3 minutes of walking in that night. It was terrifying stepping out into the unknown. I didn't know what was going to be out there in the night. Those lions and hyenas from the day, were they waiting? Were they hungry? Did they want to eat me? But even worse, in the latrine, there was a massive spider living there. And I'm talking huge spider. And what made it even worse is you never knew where it would be. It didn't hang out in its web and stay there. It would be all over the latrine. Every time you went in, you had to look for it. Now, I know spiders are amazing, and I know none of us ever hurt spiders, but I have to say, I am not a fan of such a massive spider at midnight in a latrine in the bush in South Africa. I don't think I ever appreciated my dad's sturdy flashlight more than I did on those nights camping out in the bush. When nature called and I woke up in the middle of the night, I would feel a panic and uncertainty growing. So before I even opened the flap of the tent and stepped out into the unknown, I would take a deep breath in, hold it just a moment, and then let it out. Could you try that with me now? Let's all together take a deep breath in, just hold it, and then let it out. I would do that standing right at the edge of my tent 3 times in a row. So let's do that 3 times. We take a deep breath in, hold it for just a moment, and release. Another in-breath, we hold and release. In-breath, hold, and release. You know, my friends, the wonderful thing about your breath is that it is always with you, no matter what. And 3 inhales and exhales are one of the most powerful ways you can alter your state of being. So when you're feeling panicky or uncertain or anxious or scared, all you need to do is remember your breath. So picture it. There I was, 3 deep breaths in the African bush. Then I would slowly and tentatively open the flap of the tent. Then I would click on Dad's mighty flashlight, and then I'd tiptoe down the path, walking carefully, praying that I didn't encounter a snake or something hungry, and then I would open the door to that latrine and shine that beam all around, trying to discover where that really massive spider was hiding. You know, I don't know what I would have done without Dad's flashlight. As scared as I was to take that walk into the unknown, I could do it because I had this light to guide my way on. This week, I've thought a lot about this flashlight, but also about the light within our Unitarian Universalist faith. The symbol of our faith is the flaming chalice. Most world religions have a symbol, and this is ours. The chalice itself is a pre-Christian symbol. It dates back to pagan times and pagan traditions, and it's a symbol of the divine feminine, or the great cosmic womb from which all life emerged. Into that open bowl, we place the flame. Now, the flame is a symbol of, it's a masculine symbol, so there's a balance that happens, and the flame represents the light of love, the light of reason, the light of science, and I always like to think of it also as the spark and the light of the Big Bang that brought all of this amazingness into being. That open bowl of the chalice reminds us that we need to keep our hearts and minds and our lives open to receive the blessings and the bounty of the universe. Ours is a theology and a belief in abundance, not in scarcity. We believe there is enough love and kindness and compassion, and there should be enough justice for everybody. It shouldn't be held for just a small group of people who maybe believe a certain way, or talk a certain way, or think a certain way. We believe there is enough love and kindness and justice in the universe for everyone. Which means, my friends, there is enough love in the universe for you to hold you just by the fact that you are a precious, precious human being. When I think of the chalice, I sometimes think of two hands cupped to receive that love. And when I do that, I think of a song that I learned recently. There's a love holding you. There is a love holding all that you love. There is a love holding all. You rest in this love. Would you repeat after me? There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. And let's continue. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. I love that image of us just hanging out together this morning in all of that love. Lighting the chalice reminds us of this powerful truth. There is a love holding us, and we rest in that love. When we light that flame, we connect with that truth. But even unlit, the chalice reminds us that we are held. This week, when I got nervous or anxious or afraid or unsure, and I did that a bunch of times, let me tell you, I used this chalice as a touchstone. I'd just touch it, feel it, and then take 3 deep and centering breaths. I would breathe in, and let's do that together. Breathe in, and hold a moment, and breathe out. And again, breathe in, hold a moment, and breathe out. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. My friends, holding this chalice, touching it, and breathing called me back to my best self. And it connected me to that which is larger than myself. So today I'm going to suggest that after the service, you find something to be your chalice touchstone for the next days and weeks ahead, and put it somewhere where you're going to see it regularly and you can easily reach out and touch it. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in that love. I'm going to end with a question. That question is, when is a time where you felt held by love and you could rest in that love? When is a time when you felt held by love and could rest in that love? And if you're so moved, maybe share with each other and with us in the chat box.
There is a love holding you. There is a love holding all that you love. There is a love holding all. You rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. There is a love holding. There is a love holding all that you love. There is a love holding all. You rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Hey everyone, it's Chloe again. Instead of our usual asking of a shared contribution to continue sustaining this church, I'd like to ask something different of you today. I'd like to ask you to commit to doing one thing, just one, whether it be out of kindness, out of love, out of the warmth of community, out of the flame of a chalice. Commit to doing one thing that shows your kindness, that shows your love. Whether it be for someone you know here in the UU community, whether it be someone you know across the country, your neighbor, your friend, your family. That's what's going to sustain us all through these next few weeks.
So before we extinguish our chalice and bring our service to a close, I want to let you know that, as you experienced, the UU Church of Fresno is alive and energized and connected in love. The best way to keep connected in love is to keep connected to our Facebook page. We're going to have so many different things happening this week. Live on Facebook, class, we're going to do meditations, poetry. It's going to be really, really fun and spiritually nurturing. Also, if you want to know the latest updates, the best way to do that is to go to our website, www.uufresno.org, click on the update button, and everything you need to know will be right there. As I said, in a moment, we're going to extinguish the chalice. I'll offer closing words, and then we have our sung benediction. But I want to let you know, we'll then take a little bio break, about 5 minutes, and then Danny is going to be back with a message and an activity for families and kids and those of us who are young at heart. So 5-minute bio break, and then Danny will be right back with you, streaming live from the sanctuary. So, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of hope, the warmth of community. These we carry in our hearts. I'm going to invite you to take your hands and just place them on your heart. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. Take your love and share it with the world. Stay safe until we meet again. And may the longtime sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And that pure light that is within you guide your way on. Blessed be. Amen.
Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. In love, go in peace. Shalom and assalamu alaikum.